Welcome back. So, from the Henderson-Hasselbalch equation, we find out that pH is equal to pKa when the concentration of the proton acceptor is equal to that of the proton donor. And you see, this is an amino acid in the body. It is histidine. It has side group which is NH plus. So this is a weak acid. Like that, there are several amino acids and several other components in the body which act as weak acid or as weak bases. This is just one example. Weak acids or weak buffer cells and tissues against pH changes. The intracellular and extracellular fluids of multicellular organisms have a constant and characteristic pH in every part of the body. The organism's first line of defense against changes in internal pH is the buffer system. The cytoplasm contains high concentration of proteins. Proteins are made up of amino acids. The amino acids are having functional groups which are weak acids or bases, just as we found in the case of histidine in the previous slide. You see, this is histidine, and this histidine is actually a weak acid. The pKa of this weak acid is 6. Just like that, there are several other components as well, other amino acids, etc., which are weak acids. Nucleotides such as ATP and many other low molecular weight metabolites contain ionizable groups that contribute to buffering. And some highly specialized organelles and extracellular compartments have high concentration of compounds that contribute to the buffering capacity. For example, ammonia buffers the urine. Organic acids present in the vacuoles of the plant cells have buffering function. This is actually a calculation, a mathematical problem for the calculation of pH, pK, etc. Answer also is given there. You just practice it once or twice to understand the concept very well. This also and this also. And two important biological buffers in the organisms are phosphate buffer and also bicarbonate buffer. You know that they have different pKa values. This is the equation, and from there you can calculate the pKa values, etc. We can write the equation for the pKa, etc. The value is given here. Okay. And the blood plasma is buffered by bicarbonate system consisting of H2CO3. Equation is given here. Buffering ranges also, etc., are clear in the previous slides. This is about bicarbonate buffer. For the bicarbonate buffer, there is a particular point to be kept in mind, that carbonic acid is formed by the dissolving of carbon dioxide in water. Carbon dioxide dissolves in water, forming carbonic acid. So depending upon the partial pressure of carbon dioxide, concentration of carbonic acid may change in the body. Remember, the carbon dioxide we breathe out is not entirely a waste material. It is used as a buffer as well in the body systems. And the pH of the human plasma is about 7.4. It is maintained at that value using bicarbonate buffer, etc. When the pH decreases, it will lead to acidosis, we found in a previous slide, and in the extreme case it may even lead to death as well, because many of the enzymes have a characteristic pH range within which they are optionally active. You see, these are some of the enzymes. Look at the optimum pH of enzyme. Pepsin is seen in the stomach. Its pH, optimum pH, is in the highly acidic level. Trypsin, alkaline phosphatase, etc. are there in the body. They have different optimal pH values. So the compartment where they are present will have this pH value as the characteristic. If that pH changes, the activity of the enzymes will be greatly affected. How do we measure pH? As I told you earlier, acid-base indicators are there. They can change the pH. They can show any change in pH by changing the color of the medium. And sometimes these indicators are mixed together to produce universe indicators. They are mixtures of different pH indicators. You might have heard of phenolphthalein, methyl orange, methyl red, bromo, thymol blue, etc. I think it should be bromothymol, not bromthymol. Okay, take it. Liquid indicators are very good, especially when we are carrying out acid-base titrations. But the problem is that we will not get an exact value of the pH. If you want to get an exact value of the pH, better to use a pH meter. Test papers can be used, pH test paper, simply, filter paper, etc., which are dipped in solutions and they are dried. Litmus paper is an example, red litmus, blue litmus, etc. You have heard of it from your lower classes itself. They are papers dipped in the litmus solutions or indicator solutions and they are dried. Okay, they are very good for a classroom demonstration, etc. For some field work also they are very good, but accuracy is not that much. pH meter is the machine which we use for accurate measurement of pH. In your laboratories here in the college you have pH meters. In the biochemistry lab also you have a pH meter. pH meter basically consists of two electrodes. Electrode is a medium for the passage of electricity. So actually in pH meter we are using electric current, and sometimes we are using a battery. In portable pH meter we are using a battery. In the tabletop meter we are using electricity from the grid supply. And these protons are there. Acid is a proton donor, base is a proton acceptor. So basically protons are there. This charge of the protons is combined between a test solution and a standard reference solution. So we have two electrodes. One is a glass electrode, the other one is a reference electrode. The glass electrode consists of silver based electrical wire suspended in a solution of potassium chloride, and it is present in a thin bulb or in a membrane. Actually in our machines we are having a thin bulb, and this thin bulb is made from special glass materials. The other electrode is a reference electrode. It has potassium chloride wire in it, suspended in a solution of potassium chloride. This is a tabletop pH meter. You can see the reading here, and you can see two electrodes here. This beaker actually contains the test solutions, and this is a portable pH meter, a pocket type pH meter. Here actually two electrodes are there. One is a pH sensitive electrode here. This is one electrode. One more electrode is there in this meter. We say two electrodes are incorporated into the same package. Okay, battery etc. provided here. Silver wire coated with the silver chloride is there. There is a solution inside, reference solution is there inside. So this system is making up the reference electrode, and here we have the glass electrode. In this one we have the pH filling solution is there, stabilizing solution is there, and this electrode pH sensitive glass membrane is dipped in the test solution. I will show you this in the classroom when you come to the class. This is actually pocket type pH meter. Okay, and how these things are working? How does the pH meter work? The potassium chloride inside the glass electrode is in a neutral reference solution with the pH 7. So it contains a certain amount of hydrogen ions. You know, even for pH 7, there is a certain amount of hydrogen ion. Only the fact is that it is equal to that of hydroxyl ions. Now, the glass electrode is measuring a difference in pH between the test solution and the reference solution. The glass electrode is measuring a difference in pH between the test solution and the reference solution. And when you dip the electrodes in the test solution, some of the hydrogen ions move towards the outer surface of the glass electrode and replace some of the metal ions inside it. Or you may simply understand this. The difference in concentration of the protons between these two solutions, these two reference solution and a test solution, is measured by this meter, by the pH meter. And by means of an ion exchange mechanism, it is reflected as a reading on the meter. In the meter, we can see the reading. You just go through it. You will understand that this pH difference, the difference in concentration of protons, is generating a small potential, actually of the order of millivolt. And that potential difference is what is read as a reading on the screen. So all this much about pH meters and pH reading. When you come to the lab, we will demonstrate how to use a pH meter.